Wow. Hey everybody, Tsunami here. Enjoying my new ring light. Look at that. Anyway, let's just get to the video. So we're watching DonLemon and Elon Musk. They're going to talk. We're going to see if they say anything intelligible. But that's not relevant. What's relevant is who they are. So let's start. DonLemon. Former CNN anchor. He was very famous for a time. I enjoyed him growing up whenever I would catch the news from my parents. And he seemed well grounded. I didn't know he was gay until later on, but it was irrelevant to me. The only relevant things to me that he has done is how he's berated his coworkers, how he's done snakish things to like get ahead in the network, and it just, being an asshole. So, with all that, I stopped fucking with him. And Elon Musk, we all know Elon Musk. I think he's stupid. He goes to companies and essentially destroys them, but he makes a bag still. Like, think about it like this. Elon's making his money. Even though he goes into the company and does what he does, except with Twitter. He's actually losing money with Twitter. He's making his money. I already done a video on Elon. I wanted to do a video on DonLemon, but everything I wanted to say, I summed it up right there. So, this is the other video. So, we're going to watch an interview that DonLemon now has on X. And I think there was already some issues with that episode. I think Elon was pissed about it, and Don was like, okay, I'm still going to post this shit because he was supposed to get a contract with Elon. Elon lost a lot of money when he posted that anti-Semitic shit. And he got people like Disney, MGM, Apple saying, yeah, we don't want to give you money no more. So you get people like Bob Iger saying no to you, you're losing money. So, yeah, that's about that. And we're just gonna get started. But if you like the content, or you like my new, this is very nice, please subscribe. New videos are coming. As you can see, new videos.
Welcome to the DonLemon Show, everyone. We're still here.
Surprised.
I'm going to bring you my conversation with Elon Musk, the one that everyone is talking about. But first, let me tell you a bit about the show. Contrary to what you might have heard, we weren't canceled by X. Yes, after months of begging me, wooing me to offer some exclusive content on his platform, Elon Musk decided to scrap the deal. But our plan is, and always has been, to release this show everywhere, on YouTube, on Spotify, on iHeartRadio. Just about any place you stream content.
Wait, iHeartRadio? People still use that shit? iHeartRadio? Desperate times. Jeez.
Now for my conversation with Elon. As with all my interviews, no restrictions, no ground rules, nothing off limits or out of bounds. That is until the interview ended. So what went wrong? I don't know. But my hope is that you learned something about both Elon and me, two people who come from completely different vantage points on almost every single issue. And I challenge you, Elon, to watch the whole interview and tell the world why this isn't what you claim you want on X.
Okay, you see, this is why I used to like DonLemon. He can say shit like that, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, you seem like a level-headed nigga. You seem like my kind of brother. But from what I know about DonLemon, it's a facade. And I get it. We all gotta fake it till we make it. Fuck, man. I miss a little bit of authenticity. Just a little bit.
Thank you for inviting us here.
You're welcome.
Tesla.
Is this a Tesla?
I'm surprised.
Of course it's at
how big it
Tesla.
is. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's about 3 times the size of the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And we built it in 16 months. It's the fastest construction project in the United States since World War II.
So I'm here, as you know, I'm on the platform because you say you're a free speech absolutist, right? And there are no conditions.
Yeah. Free speech is as much as possible within the bounds of the law.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying that is because there are no conditions.
Alright, hold on. So before I even start, doesn't that mean that he's not a free speech absolutist? Because these free speech absolutists are like, yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want, and you can keep saying it. And the law can't stop you, because you can keep saying it. Because you can breathe, and you can speak. I mean, that's what I thought, but maybe.
Listen, we are here as part of a launch of a news interview show that is going to be on X.com. It's coming as a media industry, as you know, is going through a whole lot of changes.
Yeah.
X has also been affected by that. Where do you see X.com's role in the future of news and journalism, Elon?
Well, I think I see the X as it's already the #1 source of news in the world. So it is #1, the #1 way that people actually are informed about any kind of news, meaning real-time events, is on the X platform, formerly Twitter. There's nothing even close for real-time news. So we also want to expand upon that, and we have done so with long-form content. So instead of just doing what used to be called tweets, you can now do long-form posts. You can post an entire essay. In fact, you can now post an entire book to the platform. You can do long-form video content.
And I will say, if you see Mr. Beast's Twitter, because I follow him on my Twitter, you can follow me if you want. I only care about it when I have 10K. I'm not gonna lie to you. I need to be famous on Twitter before I give a shit about Twitter, which is stupid. But regardless, Mr. Beast has posted some videos, and the ad revenue has been pretty choice for him. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I get it. I see it. He's taken. See, if Elon took these steps and then didn't say his stupid shit, he would be swimming in money. But he's not, because he fucked up. He's a fucking idiot.
So you can do up to 4-hour video segments. We really want news in whatever form it is, or information, I should say, in whatever form it is, to be available on our platform, whether it's short, long, text, pictures, video, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that we do, long-form video, interview shows, what have you.
Yeah.
You reached out over the summer and you said, it would be great to have Maddo, DonLemon, others on the left put on this platform. You received full support. The digital town square is for all. What do you mean by that?
Well, I just mean that we want to make sure that there are a wide variety of viewpoints, that it's we always have, for example, Tucker Carlson, who most people will view as being on the right, and that's quite a prominent name on the right. We want to have prominent names on the left as well, to provide different points of view, as well as centrists. Just basically a wide range of viewpoints on the platform, so users can hear different opinions. They can hear, what's your point of view, what's Tucker's point of view, and and people can make their own decision about what they believe.
You didn't mean that I'm on the left? Did you think that?
I thought you were on the left, but yeah. I don't know. Well, let's just say I don't know what the left is or the right is, frankly, these days, because things can be quite polarized. But my impression was that you're more likely to be described as on the left than the right.
Because you're a black man. That's why. Me? You want to know my political affiliation? Does that really matter to you? You want to know, though? Alright. I'm a moderate. Hey, but legally, I'm no affiliation. You understand? Legally, I have no party. That's it. Just want to flex that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's a true individualist. Hey, that's how you know I'm a true fucking individualist. No affiliation.
My sense is you're sort of center left. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, did you ever watch me on CNN, or did you watch?
I saw
Yeah.
Yeah, not.
Also,
saw segments.
Why does he sound like he's always bullshitting? He sounds like me when I'm trying to find a lie in my head and then I gotta say it. But unlike me, he doesn't say it. He keeps on doing it. I don't know, but you think about the world, and then you look at the sky, and then after that, the angels are coming, and then there must be aliens. Fuck out of here, dumbass.
Yeah.
But CNN is generally considered left.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
Why do I say CNN is generally considered left? I think if you look at any sort of media survey of what is on the left or right, I think they would say, for example, Fox is on the right and CNN is on the left.
Yeah.
Actually, they would say Fox is on the right and MSNBC is on the left. Look, I got a 4 in my AP government class. Okay? I have some, hey, fuck you. I have some knowledge, huh? Don, though, hey. Remember what he said in the beginning of the video? I think this is the moment where shit got weird. right at the start. Because some of the questions that Don's asking, it's like, is that really necessary? It feels like you're grilling him a little bit. Just a little bit. And I can see how in a mind like Elon's, you may take that as disrespect, but maybe it gets progressively worse. But this is the first moment where I noticed shit got a little weird.
So that's what.
Am I missing something here?
Okay.
Yeah, see, look at that.
Are you missing
Weird.
something?
Weird.
I don't know. I think that when I read that, I said, like many of my critics or detractors, they never really watched me on CNN. They just saw the clips of me either on social media or maybe on Fox News or in conservative media, where it's sort of where I've become a character or a caricature of what I actually am, and it's taken out of context.
Sure. Well, how would you describe yourself?
You see, this interview is literally turning into the DonLemon interview. Why? You came to Tesla to interview Elon Musk. Does his opinion about who the fuck you are really matter? Honestly, hey, as someone that probably wants to do shit like this in the future, interview people, talk about shit, and as someone that likes to also talk about himself a lot, this is useless. This is not something you should tell people. As many of my critics and detractors have, nigga, who gives a fuck? So, weird.
I would describe myself as someone who is, I am independent in my thinking, and I vote for people based on the issues and how I feel about it, not necessarily because of political leaning of some sort.
Wow, I can say the same thing.
I think that's generally how people should take things, which is, I mean, there are a whole sort of set of issues which are sort of somewhat arbitrarily bucketed into right or left. But I think most citizens would think that they would agree with some things on the left, but not everything, or they agree on some things on the right, but not everything. So that's what I think most people feel, I guess.
How much longer, and maybe the answer is forever, how much longer are we going to have to call it the formerly known as Twitter? I mean, even
why would you answer that question?
Prince instead of, is it always going to be X?
It's definitely always going to be X.
So X is going through some changes. As I said, a lot of media companies are going through some changes. You're in charge of an incredible platform, Elon. How do you feel that's going?
I think it's going pretty well so far. We're seeing record usage. We've added a tremendous amount of functionality. I mentioned it used to be that you could only do short, text and maybe a picture or something like that, short video. But now you can do long form text, long form video. We've added audio video calling.
Wait a second. First of all, I've watched a lot of porn on X. I mean, Twitter, formerly. And it was like, it's 30 minutes. I could watch at least 30 minutes of content. So fuck are you saying, Elon? This was before you came. Huh? This is before you came. And you see how he's never going to mention ad revenue? He's...
There was an article recently written about you saying that you, Donald Trump, and X were the most important people or places or whatever icons when it comes to the MAGA movement. Do you agree with that? How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, there are nonsense articles written all the time, and I certainly wouldn't agree with that one. I put it in the nonsense category. So the objective fact of the matter, in my opinion, was that old Twitter was fundamentally a tool of the far left. And that was really, I think, a lot of it was due to being located in San Francisco, Berkeley. And so it wanted to essentially project the SF Berkeley political dogma worldwide.
You think it was far left?
So I don't think it was far left. I always thought it was neutral. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, but back when Trump was running for president the first time, he was on Twitter a lot. CNN was using his tweets a lot. People were referencing his tweets in like debates and all those political, what's the word? Town halls. So it's like, it's influential depending on the person. It was always a tool though, very neutral. Nowadays, everyone's talking about, I guess you can say X. But if Facebook was as influential and if it got as much traction, they would be talking about Facebook too. Like, oh, look at this disturbing post on Facebook that celebrity X posted. So I don't know. This part I don't really agree with. I understand it though, but I don't really agree with it.
Yes, I do.
I used to get, I actually got off the platform because I would get so much hate tweets when it was called in, so much hate tweets and just guff from
And I'm not gonna
right-wing
lie,
conspiracy theory.
this nigga needs to stop referencing himself. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like this is. I get it. It's the Don Lemon show, and you should put a part of yourself into your interviews. But he's. So it's only been like 8 minutes. He's talked about himself a lot.
Being called everything from, you know, to
Sure.
Nick,
The internet,
everything.
you know, if people will do. I mean, I've been called every name times 1,000.
Yeah. Do you agree that it's right now? And that
Wait, he's been called every name times 1,000? Yeah. Elon, I'm sure you've been called a name many times. You see, I have to bleep that out on YouTube. Yeah.
No.
It's moved into sort of MAGA
No,
land,
I
conspiracy
don't.
theory?
I certainly don't think it's right. The old school Twitter suspended and suppressed accounts that you'd call on the right 10 times more than they did accounts on the left. And even when they did suspend an account on the left, it was because of arguments between two people on the left. The political donations of old Twitter were 99% Democrat. Does that sound left?
99% Democrat?
Yes. You know when they look at donations from a company?
You're fucking lying.
If a company donates literally 99% of all donations are to Democrats, does that strike you as a left-leaning or a right-leaning
Oh, you
company?
mean the company donated. I understand what you're
What
saying.
I'm trying to tell you is that Twitter employees, people at Twitter, their political donations were 99%, literally 99%, to Democrats.
Okay, look.
That's obviously...
There are a lot of numbers I don't believe when it comes to figures. 100%, 99%, and honestly, the 90 range is tough. It's very tough. I only believe in like electoral college votes or something like that. But anything in the 90s and like the low percent. I mean, I could probably believe a 1%, 2%. It all depends on context. You're gonna tell me, out of all of your employees, 99% of them living in a rich area, let's just talk about California. It's just rich. There is money. It's more beneficial and financially smart to vote Republican versus Democrat. That's just always how it is. At least when it came to finances and big business and, you know, taxes, right? So you're telling me these people, 99% of them would rather choose their liberal social standings as the marker of, you know, their life versus wanting to possibly get money? No. Maybe half, maybe a 50%, which I would agree with 50%, maybe even 40, but 99? No sir. No sir.
an extremely left-leaning group.
My question leading into this is about MAGA. And speaking of MAGA, you recently met with Donald Trump in Florida. What did you guys talk about?
Mar-a-Lago.
I was at a dinner. I was not done. I was at a breakfast at a friend's place, and Donald Trump came by. That's it.
So you didn't go there to meet him?
No, I went to a friend of mine's house, and it said Donald Trump's coming by for breakfast. Is that just so you know? Like, okay, fine.
What did you discuss?
I don't. He did most of the talking.
What did you say?
The normal things he says. There was nothing particularly groundbreaking or new, but he, you know.
Don, you're not going to get this. He's not going to tell you. Don't push it.
President Trump likes to talk, and so he talked. I don't recall him saying anything that he hasn't said publicly, and that was it. It was just a breakfast.
Did he ask you for money?
He didn't.
Did he ask you for a donation?
No,
He didn't.
No.
You said you're not going to donate to any candidate.
that's correct.
Why not?
I think
It wouldn't work. It looks bad.
while I'll voice my opinion, I think I don't want to put a thumb on the scale monetarily. That is, you know, significant.
Are you going to loan him money to help pay his bills?
No,
Not at all. Pay his legal bills.
I'm not paying his legal bills in any way, shape, or form.
And he did not ask you for money.
And he
He's
did not
going
ask me
very
for it.
hard
Are
on
you
this
going
Trump
to, so
thing.
you're not going to endorse a candidate?
I may, in the final stretch, endorse a candidate, but I don't know yet. I want to. make a considered decision before the election, and if I do decide to endorse a candidate, then I will explain exactly why.
Are you leaning towards anyone?
No.
You're not leaning towards anyone. Because you've been
Let me say I'm leaning away from Biden.
you're leaning
I don't get it. I don't get it. Didn't he say I'm not going to endorse anybody? So why are you asking him who is he leaning towards? I just feel like some of these questions are already answered. You don't have to ask these questions. Some of these questions are, how do I want to say it? They're gotcha questions. He's really trying to get this nigga. That's what I feel like. He's really trying to just be like, gotcha, soundbite. That's what I feel like.
I've made no secret of that.
Are you concerned about losing your security clearance if Biden is reelected? Does that have anything to do with it?
What?
No.
That honestly seems very irrelevant.
You're leaning away from Biden, but you're not going to endorse anyone. It seems like an endorsement of President Trump because there are only two people who are running now. Nikki Haley is out.
I mean, a lot could happen between now and the election. So.
And also, there's third parties, and I mean, sure, we don't have to. He may not vote for them, but no, come on, Don, you're actually reaching. That honestly seems very irrelevant.
You're leaning away from Biden, but you're not going to endorse anyone. It seems like an endorsement of President Trump because there are only two people who are running now. Nikki Haley is out.
I mean, a lot could happen between now and the election. So.
And also, there's third parties, and I mean, sure, we don't have to. He may not vote for them, but no, come on, Don, you're actually reaching. You're actually reaching.
Who, in the final analysis, are the choices for president. And at that point, I may or may not endorse one of the candidates. If I do, I will provide a very detailed explanation of why I am endorsing one or the other.
At that point, might you contribute or donate?
I think it's unlikely.
So SpaceX, Tesla, you got a lot of lawsuits. You've got X.com. You got a lot going on. How do you relax?
Well, I relax. I spend time with my kids, my friends, and I, make somewhat of a nerd technologist. So I like playing video games.
Oh, what do you play, loser?
I'll play video games with friends online.
Which one?
Yeah, which one?
Actually, I've been playing Diablo.
What?
Diablo. But I played almost all the games over the years.
I don't like Diablo.
A long time ago,
not the
I was
recent
like
one.
Semi-pro good at Quake. This is really dating me.
Quake?
Because we're talking
about, my god.
Like 25 years ago.
I don't know video games. I just know that my great nephew loves Fortnite and some other stuff.
Yeah, it's about Fortnite, nigga. I will play Fortnite. I will play Fortnite later.
Relax, right? So
yeah.
Maybe I'll stream it.
If you've got friends in different cities and they're playing the same game, you can both go online at the same time and play the game together, even though you're in different cities.
Listen, I'm not asking you anything that anyone else hasn't asked you about your controversial stuff that you tweet. You post a lot of controversial stuff. Is that considered blowing off steam?
Well, I
think so,
I
actually.
Enjoy using the platform. I mean, I do call the X platform the PvP, or player versus player platform. So in video games, there's player versus environment, where you're not playing against other people, and then there's PvP, which is like hardcore. You're actually playing against other people, and
but that's blowing off steam for you.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is just.
And I'm actually going to speak on that. There's something about talking your shit. For him, he has people that actually listen, even if it's a bunch of random nobodies. But for me, I always like to talk my shit on Snapchat. I used to talk a lot of shit on Twitter, but that became an empty void. So I like to just talk my shit if I have shit to speak on, because sometimes you gotta let out how you feel. Sometimes the troubles of the day really do get to you, and you just gotta speak on it. I get that. I actually 100% get that. The issue with my guy is that he doesn't have a filter. He doesn't really think about what he says, so even though he wants to express how he feels, the consequences, he's not really concerned with them. Which in turn turns into a loss of money and revenue. That is all. But, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Can we talk about the Great Replacement Theory now? Some of the things that you post, the Great Replacement Theory, you claim that Democrats President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border. You said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes. But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
All right, so let's the great replacement theory. I think conceptually I know what that is. And I never heard about it until now, but I think I know what they're talking about. What they're saying is that white people are being replaced by literally everybody. So slowly but surely, white people will be ruled out, gone, and because of that, it'll be easier for things to change. I guess like social stuff, elections, all that stuff. And I heard about this long ago when I was younger, when I was learning about it in government. But it's people like Nick Fuentes, which I hate bringing up in almost every political video, but it's people like him, white radicals, white supremacists, that are trying to save America by stopping this replacement theory from happening, which is why they're very against, immigrants coming over. They're very against having sex with someone that's not white. They want interracial marriages are a no-go for them. They're very against just everything. Everything that has to do with desegregation, essentially. But let me see. The Great Replacement Theory, in simple terms, states that welcoming immigrant policies, particularly those impacting non-white immigrants, are part of a plot designed to undermine or replace the political power and culture of white people living in Western countries. So that's what so you see, there's an entitlement to being in politics. There's an entitlement to power. There's an entitlement to being rich. It's being white. That's at least what they believe wholeheartedly, I believe. Now let's get back to the video. Elon is saying he believes that in this theory. As a white man, I'm not surprised. But how does he respond to the question?
Right. Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that. I'm simply saying that there is an incentive here. If legal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come into the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. But it is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democrat voters. And yeah, so the question is like how? So there's a few ways that this works. One is that when the census is done, the census is based on all people in an area, whether they are citizens or not. So if there are a concentration of people who came here illegally in a particular state or in a particular state, that state will actually then get an increased number of House seats. So the House seat apportionment is proportionate to the number of people, not the number of citizens. So the illegals overwhelmingly go to places like California and New York, and if you just look at the math, if you look at the apportionment with and without illegals, I believe California would lose. I believe the blue state, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House. This also applies to the Electoral College. So you say, like, well, this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way that House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon,
Okay, so before he even makes his point, I understand why that theory is strong, but let me tell you why it's not. Yes, the electoral votes do change based on how many people are in the state. That's facts. That's 100% facts. The census is done every 10 years. So the electoral college votes, they're not going to change until 10 years because they don't know how many people are currently in the state until they do that census. They can guess based on how many people vote and then how many people maybe have not voted that are registered, but there's still a whole portion of people who aren't voting and that are not registered to vote. That's what the census is for. The census is there to reevaluate how many people are there. And let's actually see when the next census is. 2030. 2030. The next census is not going to happen until 6 years from now. So this theory that they're trying to do, maybe in 6 years we'll see, but for now, So it's a stretch. You have to tell me this is a long plan. This is a long plan if it's if that's what you're going for.
Electoral college is in place is to balance that, is so that that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the electoral college is there. The electoral college at this point, in our history, gives people who are in smaller states and red states much more of an influence over our elections than people who are in blue states, and the majority of the people in this country. That's what the electoral college does. It actually does the exact opposite of what you're saying. It protects people who are in smaller states and protects people who are in red states.
Well,
The red states, because they tend to be smaller and less populous.
I think that statement is
Fair.
What you said is true, but what I said is also true, which is that if, as is the case, a disproportionate number of legal immigrants go to blue states, they amplify the effect of a blue state vote. And the math, as I understand it, you can research this obviously very easily on there. It's pretty straightforward to research this. But my understanding is that there would be that the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were
All
not.
right, we don't need to hear that again. But remember what I said. Remember what I said about the 10-year thing. So these votes, this change in the seats isn't going to happen until the census is complete. It has to. I don't even need to fact check that part. It has to, because that's how we're going to know approximately how many people are in the U.S. Okay? So there is that. Now, there's 4 more topics: content moderation, diversity, equity and inclusion, trans rights and the woke mind virus, and advertisers on X. Okay, so, before we get into this second half, please subscribe to the boy. We're on the road to 500, and I got a lot of new shit, so I'm feeling pretty good about that road. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Thing in it.
Do you think if you moderated yourself more, if there was better content moderation on the platform, that you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the great replacement theory as it relates to
don't have to
Democrats,
answer these questions.
the great replacement theory as it relates to Jewish people? Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it. Otherwise, I would not.
Yeah, he's
do
pissed. He's
this
pissed.
interview.
So you don't think do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble, or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm
or that
criticized
there-
constantly. I could care less.
You don't care.
No, I don't.
Why
care.
not?
I don't think people should care what the media thinks about them. They're terrible judges of character.
I don't think people in general should care what people think about them, unless you're doing things detrimental to society. That's my take.
Even someone who has one of the biggest social media and biggest information platforms in the world, you don't care? You don't think that you have any X.com, or you have any responsibility to the truth or moderating the platform?
You're conflating the truth with the media, and I think the media is not truthful.
Well, not with just the media. I mean, just the truth in general.
I care about the truth very much. That's why we have, for example, community notes on the X system, where in order for a community note to surface and provide corrective information about what somebody posts, and my posts are equally subject to this. I've been community noted many times. In order for a community note to surface, people who have historically disagreed must agree in order for a community note to surface. And all of the code for community notes is open source. All of the data is open source, so you can completely recreate it from scratch. The way to build trust is transparency.
I have noticed community notes. I think that you are right about that, and I do think community notes are helpful. I think
I agree with
any
that
type
too,
of
actually.
content moderation, I do think that's helpful. You recently called content moderation, though, a digital chastity belt. Do you think that you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform?
I think we have
That's a good question.
a responsibility to adhere to the law, and we have a responsibility to be transparent about when things are shown, why they're shown, So that's why we open source our algorithm. I think once you start going beyond the law, now you're putting your thumb on the scale. And we don't want to put our thumb on the scale.
It doesn't concern you that hate speech has gone. Research shows that it's gone up on the platform since you took over. That's not concerning to you?
I believe that is false. In fact, the research that I've seen says it went down.
The study from the Institute of Strategic Dialogue.
All right, well, both you niggas gotta show me your research. The fuck? Show me your research.
Anti-Semitic tweets doubled from June 22 to February 2023. One study reported that as many as 86% of the posts reported for hateful content remained up after being reported. Hate speech on the platform is up.
So what they will typically do is they will count the number of posts, but not count the number of views. So what matters is, was that post given high visibility, or what did like one person see it? And if you look at the number of views of how many times was hate content viewed on our platform, it is down substantially.
What? Okay. Maybe there's keywords that have the shadow banning effects, but my nigga, what? If you're counting the number of posts, let's just say you're doing it, not even the number of posts, let's just say users, right? The number of users that have at least once posted something that's anti-Semitic. And he's saying it's up still? Elon, come on, man. You're trying to save face, I get it, but fuck.
Yeah. Well, that's not what the study shows. And you said you like transparency. I'm going to show you this. And
Don, you can get a study that will tell you whatever you want.
But these are just a handful of extremely, you look at those anti-Semitic and racist tropes and
All right,
tweets.
let's read this. We Jews don't believe Jesus came back from the dead because you never saw a body. There is no bodily evidence of the resurrection of Christ. You've never seen an autopsy of a gat. Oh, jeez. But you believe in the no way. Oh, God. That's horrible.
And as of this morning, they're still on X. And from your own content policy, these posts should have been deleted. So why haven't they been deleted? Why are they still there? Did you...
We delete things if they are illegal.
But these have been up there for a while.
Are they illegal?
No,
you see, that's what... everything is legal when it comes to hate speech, except when you threaten harm on people. Obviously, memes and jokes and all that shit are a gray area. Honestly, a white area, because I don't think anyone gives a fuck. But Elon, you have to. You see it though, Elon.
They're not illegal, but...
Just say that you are a free speech absolutionist to the fullest extent of the law, which he did. He actually did say that, so what am I even saying? He did say that. Just say that you don't want to moderate content unless you have to pay money.
They're hateful and they can lead to violence. As I just read to you, the shooters, in all of these mass shootings, attributed social media to radicalizing.
So Don, you love censorship, is what you're saying?
No, I don't love censorship.
Then why are you asking?
I believe in moderation, but I don't believe in...
Censorship moderation is a propaganda word for censorship.
But don't you think free speech is one thing, right? Or not,
Look, if something's illegal, we're going to take it down. If it's not illegal, then we're putting our thumb on the scale and we're being censors.
You're putting your thumb on the scale for moderating hate speech. I mean, you don't put out child pornography. That's not...
It's illegal.
Some people would say that's considered censorship. I'm just saying, you...
No, I literally, Don, I literally said, if something is legal, okay, we will obviously remove it.
Okay.
But if it is not legal, the laws in this country are put forward by the citizens. We're a democracy. If those laws are put in place by the people, we adhere to those laws.
Okay,
I agree. To the laws of others. If you go beyond the law, you're actually going beyond the will of the people.
Okay, agreed with the law. But if you are doing something that promotes hate and violence and ultimately leads to killing, you don't feel you have any responsibility not to do that?
Come on.
When the people who are doing it admittedly are saying...
There's articles all the time that lead to violence and killing. Don't they? Shouldn't they? Like you're applying a differential standard to...
But that would never be in mainstream media. These types of images, that type of language, those things would never be... when I was in mainstream media, we'd never promote things that would be anti-Semitic. We would never promote things
that are
that would.
anti-Semitic either.
Did you not see those?
You said promote. If content is on the platform, that doesn't mean we promote it.
What?
That wouldn't be on a platform for mainstream media at all.
No, but you can think of that's because the mainstream media has like whatever 20 articles a day. We have 500 million posts a day.
Okay,
500
understood.
million.
Does it bother you? How do you feel about that when you see it?
I obviously disagree with that. I think it's not good at all. It's terrible.
But you don't want to get rid.
Because think about it. If you see a post that is concerning, it's going to be a rabbit hole. If you go back to that person's previous post, there may be signs. I just moderation can't go that deep. I understand because of there's so many people in the world. You gotta have an actual team to moderate content. But if you have an actual team that's doing it and you have guidelines and you're diligent and you can still try to do your best to keep that open transparency, that open veil, but certain things you just can't allow, especially if it means like anything harmful to such an extent. Like racist jokes are always going to be borderline, but it depends on a lot of shit, from the political climate to the culture to where we are. It depends. I understand that. But to moderate nothing, to leave it like a wild, wild west, that's not the way to go.
Rid of it on the platform, or at least moderate it.
The rules, what you're suggesting is censorship that goes beyond the law. And what I'm saying is I guess have a disagreement, because I do not believe in censorship that goes beyond the law, and you do. We have a difference of opinion in that regard.
I understand that, but these are your own rules on your own platform. These go against the rules on your platform. That's why I'm asking you. If you said, listen, we allow everything, but that's not what your content rules say. And that's why I'm asking you, why are they still there?
Ooh. But, he got him there. He got him there. If your own rules fucking say it, change the rules. You're gonna have to, because you're being called a hypocrite. It's better to stand on 10 toes than to look like a hypocrite.
Your own content policy. That's why I'm asking you that, not because...
Which part about content policy says that we have...
Don't ask him that.
These things?
Your content policy talks about hate speech.
Yes, we don't promote hate speech.
And so you don't consider that hate speech?
I guess you're not understanding what I'm saying. There's you can find, like, you can sign up right now and do 100 things that are hateful. But if nobody reads it, it doesn't matter.
I don't want to get too political, but I feel like a lot of these degenerative, low-life people that want to do terrible things are not the most popular. It's not going to get traction. But if they post a manifesto saying they're going to do something terrible to black people or any race of people because they hate them, and it gets 10 views, and then something happens the next day, if moderation was there, not only would that user have been banned and all that, I'm confident the proper authorities would have been reached, his IP would have been given to them, they would have stopped this before it even happened. That's what Don is trying to say. He's trying to say that you can ban these users and then take the appropriate steps to make sure shit like any school shooting or any mass shooting doesn't happen again. It's very
So you can think of X as being, it's much like the internet. It's not some tiny publication with like 20 articles a day. It's 500 million.
But everyone has the opportunity to read it, Elon.
Everyone has the opportunity to read the internet. Are you suggesting we should shut down the internet?
No, but you don't own the internet. I'm asking you about you and your responsibility on your platform. And so I see how you feel now. You don't agree. We don't agree on this.
Yes, you want censorship and I don't.
No, I don't want censorship at all.
Yes, you do.
No, I want responsibility. I think
You desperately want censorship.
No, if I want a censorship...
You want censorship so bad you can taste it.
No, that's not true. It's not true. I think that there's right and wrong. And I think that when you have a platform that's as big as yours and as powerful as yours and as influential as yours, and you are a person of consequence to the world with what you do, that there is a certain responsibility that goes along with what you have on your platform and what you put out to the world. And I think that's important. You don't see that responsibility?
I think
nope.
we have a responsibility to adhere to the law, and if people,
Okay, so it's just gonna be the same shit, honestly. But you get what he's saying, and you get what both sides are saying, and I agree with Don. There needs to be some kind of moderation. Censorship. No one's saying you can't say what you say. You just can't say what you want to say right here. You can say it out in the streets. You can say it on other platforms that may not moderate you, but on a platform that's big, that has eyes, we don't want you. It's very simple. Policies exist for a reason, and you gotta consider the abusers. So there's that. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Did I give a shit about that? Let's see. If it's boring, we're just gonna skip it.
if the test for a doctor is lowered, then the probability of them making a mistake and killing someone is obviously going to be higher.
Wait, say that again. I'm not sure I understand what you said. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Yes, if the standards for passing medical exams and becoming a doctor, or especially something like a surgeon, if the standards are lowered, then the probability that the surgeon will make a mistake is higher. They're making mistakes in their exam. They may make mistakes with people, and that may result in people dying.
What evidence do you have, though, that they're lowering the standards? There's no evidence of that.
I will agree that if they are actually lowering the standards, then yeah, Elon's absolutely correct. But does he have proof?
If there is.
There's no evidence of that, Elon. What is the evidence?
I believe they have literally lowered the standards at Duke University, and that is what the article was referring to.
What's the standards?
They have not.
Where's your evidence,
There's
nigga?
no evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is...
Leave that as a false statement you're making.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think
the interesting thing is, when this is posted on the X platform, there will be a whole bunch of things that rebut what you said and what I said.
Correct.
And so people can then make their own decision based on the replies.
All right, yeah, this is him being pissed. He's pissed.
I think that's fair, but I do think that
he's pissed. All right, so yeah, like I said, it was from Don being too into himself in the beginning to certain questions being unnecessary, and then when Don really got into it, Elon was like very unhappy, and then a lot of this stuff was triggering for him. You talk about advertisers, you talk about money that he's not making. Yeah, he's gonna be pissed. But let's get to the last two: trans rights and advertisers on X. I may not do advertisers on X because we've done it before in a whole ass video, but we'll see.
I did not.
Let's talk about trans rights and the woke mind virus, because you've talked about that a lot. You're right about that a lot on the thing. You have been deeply outspoken about the issue of trans rights. You posted trans rights. You posted that pronouns in bio mean the woke mind virus ate your brain. Do you know what the term woke actually means?
At this point, do I even know what the term woke even means? I'm going to test it for you guys. Woke. It means you're very aware, hyper aware of the injustices in a lot of things in society, but they only exist because of the legal structure of America, of America. So you're woke in that you understand it, but you know it's a byproduct of society. It being anything from events to people to everything. That's how I see woke, but let's see what these two believe woke is.
It's come to mean a lot of things.
But what originally it was meant to mean, it's just being aware of inequities in society and being aware of facts and history.
Oh!
Yeah, I think it's...
Hey! I'm very happy with myself with that one. Not gonna lie.
Going to be... I think being aware of inequities in society is fine, of course. But trying to blame everything trying to make everything a race issue is, I think, divisive and corrosive to society.
I agree. Not
Even
everything is a race
trans
issue.
issues, which is what I'm...
Not everything
race
is a race issue.
Gender or whatever.
You think that society blames everything on racism now?
It blames a lot of things on it, and
not everything, but a lot. He's
You
right.
think that's unfair?
He's right.
yeah,
Why?
I think we should not make this a constant subject. I think we need to move on. I think we just, treat people like people.
And you see, he's saying something that an individualist like me wants to hope for as well, where we should just treat people like people. Truly, I actually feel that. But in a society, living in a society, being part of a society, and having titles, myself included in said society, there's certain groups and people that we adhere to. And as much as we would like to treat everyone the same, there's some things we have to be careful about based on environment, location, and even skin color. So I get it. But this is part of being woke, being aware that you gotta be aware of everything about a person.
Don't agree that this country was founded on racism and founded on slavery and
of course it was.
Many ways inequities.
Of course it was. 100%. 100%.
Still continue on to this.
I think every country at that time, and I think even today, was extremely racist. Every country. And obviously slavery was present in about half of this country. Was not present in the north. There was racism for sure, but I think we want to look to the future rather than the past, and instead of engaging in constant rehashing of the past, because in fact, if you look at history, if you study history broadly, everyone was a slave. Everyone.
Huh.
Yes. Well, not everyone was a slave.
No, everyone was a slave.
Okay, but
No,
we
he means every race was a slave. Which you can, every race was a slave. Not everyone. There had to be masters.
are all descended from slaves.
yeah. Well,
All of us.
yeah.
It's just a question of when. Was it more recent or less recent? That's it.
Right.
But what future do we want? Is this something we want to make a part of our constant dialogue forever, or do we want to say, like, let's just move on and treat everyone, according to just who they are as an individual?
That's the hope. Look, Elon, that's the fucking hope, man. And it's pissing me off that you're using this rhetoric, because that's a hope, but you can't erase the power of racism that's ingrained in our society, that is still putting innocent people in jail based on the color of their skin, that's still having many people being killed by the police, that's making me, as every time I see a black policeman, I think of them as an Uncle Tom. I will always think of them as an Uncle Tom, because I know that they are more ready to fucking destroy my life to get a bag than any other cop. I am more afraid of black cops than any other cop. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's ingrained. This racism shit's ingrained. So your platform, enabling it, not moderating it, is only going to flourish it as this new generation continues on. And TikTok and you are not helping.
I agree with you with that. That's the ideal. But what the evidence shows is that that's not what's actually in practice.
Oh,
Better
well.
than anywhere else.
This
That's
nigga.
true. I
It's
agree
not
with that.
true.
But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean a lot to a whole lot of people who are able to take advantage of the opportunities that you were able to take advantage of, simply because the color of your skin.
What advantages did my color of my skin give me?
What?
Well, there's an ease that you have in society that many people of color don't. You were able to come to this country voluntarily. There are many people who were not able to come to the country voluntarily. There are people who came here as slaves.
For me to come.
Police are more willing to give you a fucking break. College acceptance is going to be higher for you. You're more likely to get loans from banks. You're treated with more respect, just socially. People look at you. They look down. They don't give a fuck. People look at me. They wonder if I'm going to steal if I'm going to a fucking store. I always have to have my wallet out. You understand me? I always have to have my wallet out. So I feel secure that no nigga or no security guard or no bitch is going to look at me sideways. You are very advantaged, my friend. But I don't use what I complain about to formulate my bullshit ideas. I live. I believe in the individual. Still do. So, sorry, that got me a little heated.
I'm here.
And there is a legacy of slavery that still continues on. There's a legacy of racism that still continues on in this country. That's undeniable.
Undeniable.
Well, if we keep talking about it nonstop, it will never go away. If we keep making that the central thing, it will never go away.
Which means that he wants it essentially to just let it be. Let it be till it dies out. When's it gonna die out? Honestly, I don't think it'll ever die out, but not talking about it is going to increase the longevity.
Why do you believe that?
I think I'm just making a simple statement of fact.
Huh!
So I think we want to get away from making everything a race or a gender or whatever issue, and just treat people like individuals.
Do you have any desire to understand what many people of color and even trans people, how they feel about this country and how they're treated in this country? If they say and they believe that they are treated a certain way in this country, why don't you believe them?
You cannot have a situation where someone is a self-described victim, and they just get to be that because that's how they feel.
Huh!
I think that does happen in some cases, but not all cases.
Yeah, there's emotional victims, but there's events that happen where people are victims of hate crime, hate speech, and it is what it is. We've all been victims at one point, but we've also all been perpetrators. It's not exclusive.
And I think that not understanding the history of the country, I think, is a real shame. Look,
We should understand the history of the country and other countries.
I've had incredible opportunities as a person of color.
Right.
But I've also been
very well.
But I've also been discriminated against, and I know that I have, and I know that that's real. And for someone to say that that isn't happening, I should just move forward and not think about that and ignore the past, is insulting.
Yep. Hey, so you see, this is where he alludes to himself, and I actually respect that. Look, I was pissed at him talking about himself a lot in the beginning, but honestly, this is the DonLemon show. We're going to get DonLemon. We got to respect that he's going to share himself, because he's had experience in the game, all that stuff. Still an asshole. He's still an asshole. But I respect his mind. I respect the kind of person he is when it comes to finding out the truth, even though he personally is a bad person. With that being said, though, what he says is absolutely correct, though. Wonderful advantages. I've also had wonderful advantages. Person of color, the family I have. Struggled too. Socially. Struggled mentally. With being black. Just being black in America. Yeah, I've struggled. It is what it is, but you can only say that after you've been through it. I promise you.
I'm not saying it. Don, you keep putting words in my mouth. I'm not saying it's
I didn't say that you said it.
I'm saying that we want to. We as a country should move beyond the questions of race and gender, and we should treat people like individuals and base our opinions on them on the, their character and their skills.
I don't think that anyone will disagree with that.
Exactly.
All I'm saying is that that's not happening and is not equal for everyone.
Facts. Now, let's stop on that and go to the part that probably makes him mad. The advertisers he lost.
Let's talk more about free speech and for advertisers, right? Because all this controversy, I believe, as you know, has made X less appealing to advertisers. About half of them have left the platform. You call advertisers that left X.com. You said they were oppressors. You've even gone as far as saying it publicly that they can go F themselves or go fuck themselves.
Yep. That's our video.
If they're going to force censorship on the company before advertising, then obviously I find that unacceptable.
You find it unacceptable. Why is that not a form of free speech? They are free to advertise where they want. They're not beholden to, they're not obligated to advertise on X.com.
Right.
So how is that not free speech?
That's whereas the other platforms will censor on behalf of advertisers, the X platform will not.
Okay. So, but you think you don't think it's okay for them not to advertise with or have their content or their advertisement next to something that is anti-Semitic or...
That is a different question. you can absolutely choose where next to which content do you want your advertising to appear. Absolutely, of course. And we have, I think, very good ad placement controls in this regard.
Yeah. So you said if they kill the company, it's them. But doesn't the buck stop with you? I mean, you're
Don,
Pissed.
I have to say,
Pissed. Pissed.
choose your question carefully. There's 5 minutes left.
okay, but so
Is this the question you want to ask?
the same question is you said that they are killing the company, but you're the head of the company. The buck doesn't stop with you.
He's pissed. He's pissed. He's pissed. Oh, he's mad. He's
I
mad.
acquired X in order to preserve freedom of speech in America, the First
Lie.
Amendment. And I'm going to stick to that. And if that means making less money, so be it.
But that's the thing,
So
though. The reason advertisers don't want to be with you is because you have a wild, wild west situation. Look, my nigga, I'm gonna be really, really frank with you. People don't want to die. People do not want to die. We have one life. You understand? So just because you want to promote free speech and that's your platform and that's the hill you want to fucking die on, a lot of people have a lot of hills. That mean, oh, my game's downloaded. A lot of people have a lot of hills that they want to die on. You understand? That they want to make into mountains. That they want to go into the space with. SpaceX. Your mountain's shit. I don't want to be in a scenario where I could die any moment. Where I have to risk my life, my safety, my sanity. It's so simple. And I get it. His ego is so bloated that he thinks he's doing a justice for the fucking world. Ugh. Choose your next question. Carefully, Don.
I have to be. Listen, I'm just being honest, right? I'm not trying to like get you or anything. I was
I don't
just
know.
surprised that you would blame other people for
I
killing.
think
the
some of his
company.
questions were kind of
You know,
gotcha, but
I mean, when you say the buck stops with the president of the United States, regardless of what happens, right? So, why would that question upset you? You seem upset by it, are you?
he's pissed. He's absolutely
I'm
pissed.
not trying to upset you.
Well, you are upsetting me because the way you phrase the questions, I think, is not cogent.
It's not what?
Not
Cogent.
Cogent.
Yes.
Go ahead.
If given a choice where an advertiser is saying like you have to censor all this content on the platform, irrespective of where their advertising appears, then our answer will be like, look, you can choose where you want your advertising, what you want your advertising to appear next to, but you can't insist on censorship of the entire platform. And if you insist on censorship of the entire platform, even where your advertising doesn't appear, then obviously we will not want them as an advertiser.
So what would you say to advertisers who have left the platform or who are considering coming back or not coming back?
He
What would
already
you
said
like to
it.
say
He
to
said, fuck
Well,
you.
first of all, almost all of our advertisers are coming back.
Lies.
So
Where's
It's a
MGM?
very short list of
Where's
advertisers
Apple?
who are not coming back to the platform.
Where's Disney?
And our advertising revenue is rising rapidly. And our subscription revenue is rising rapidly. And I feel very optimistic about the future of the X platform.
Okay. Listen, honestly, I'm not meaning to offend you. You're an intense person. Where does that intensity come from?
Who cares?
I was born that way.
Okay. I'm kind of done with this. Let's see.
And I had a tough childhood.
You did.
So, yeah.
How so?
Right, Walter Isaacson goes into it in the book. And we only have a couple minutes left. So,
All right.
too long to describe. So, the 1 or 2 questions I can do, and then we'll have to call it.
Okay. Again, I don't mean to upset you. Why are you just...
No, I have a whole room full of people waiting to meet with me.
Okay.
So we're just going over time.
Okay.
Oh, God. All right. This is painful now. So, yeah. That's essentially it in terms of the interview. What do you guys think about it? Did you learn something? Did I make any sense? Did Elon make more sense than me? Did Don make more sense than me? I don't know. But if you enjoyed it, if you like the content, please subscribe. We're trying to do videos almost every day. So, subscribe to see what that fucking looks like, huh? Until then, it's the sun Tsunami shining out per the usual. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.